Well, so, I'm sorry. Agile transformation. There it is. All right. So um today's topic, like I said, is a really big elephant. And there are different approaches to it. If you have any questions or any observations at the end of it, I might even be able to learn from you. Please do not hesitate to, point us towards the right direction. So when we talk about agile transformation, every organization out there, one way or the other, it's either they started off practicing agile, or somewhere in the journey they adopted um, the methodology, the agile methodology. And being that agile is, I want to call it the future, and it's still growing. There's a lot of organizations that are requiring, people to come in and help them with their agile journey. They want people with experience who are maybe one way or the other being part of the transformation. And that is what led to us talking about, this transformation today. But before we jump into, the transformation itself, we can't do that without actually understanding what agile transformation is. Agile transformation is when an organization transitions fully to an agile approach. When the whole organization decides to, go fully agile, adopting that methodology as agile. This means a willingness to be more flexible, reactive, collaborate effectively, and communicate properly. As we all know, one of the things that, one of the benefits of being agile, we're able to be flexible, we respond to change faster, we're more flexible when it comes to change, we're not rigid compared to the waterfall system. We're able to plan iteratively and adopt these changes as they come in. We improve on our collaborations, all of the frameworks on the Agile, Scrum, Kanban, TDD, BDD, we're all collaborating. We have a lot of collaborative sessions, to converse and talk about the said product or the project that we want to work at, and communicate openly. Transparency, we're able to we're really, really transparent when it comes to being agile. It is one of the pillars of agile. Transparency, you have to be transparent. When you're transparent, we tend to remove the threat of having to micromanage our employees or micromanage anyone who is involved in the said transformation. A comprehensive agile transformation will reach the four key phases of the organization: people, processes, technology, and structure. There is no way you want to introduce something into an environment, no matter where it is, maybe a community or even your household. There is no way you would want to do that without having to touch the people who make up a place, the people. So when we're talking about agile transformation, one of the key things that we touch are the people, the mindset of the people, the processes, the way we're doing things, the way we process our products, how we release our products, how we build our products. So even if it's a project, no matter what it is, technology, when we introduce agile transformation, there's a high chance that we will be touching on our technology. For example, testing. We'll be doing a lot of testing in a software development lifecycle. We will be doing more testing because we will be testing every iteration. We will be testing as we finish a set products, we test. So we will be doing a lot of testing, and also the structure. The structure of the organization will most definitely change, because there is no way we will touch everything without having to shake up, the hierarchy of an organization. Not maybe a major change, but the structure, the hierarchy of the said organization is going to be impacted. It will also ensure that the company adopts an iterative approach towards development, meaning activities are repeated in cycles until the optimal result is achieved. And what makes Agile stand out from other methodology, other traditional methodologies out there, is the fact that we're able to produce and release iteratively and incremental value iteratively. So And while we're doing this, sometimes, we repeat things in circles, repeating cycles, support, maybe for example, a support team building something, they're repeating, the processes inside or Kanban team, for example. Most of teams who, adopt the framework Kanban, they repeat things, their production in cycles. Agile transformation and agile adoption. These are two things that are used some people use it interchangeably, but there's some slight differences to it. Agile transformation is often confused with agile adoption. The latter refers to the singular act of a team adopting an agile methodology such as Scrum or Kanban. And agile transformation is more or less like the wider, like it affects an organization as a whole, while agile adoption may be a small fragment of the organization. Let's say a team adopting the one of the frameworks of agile being Scrum or Kanban. Change is implemented slowly, and the process can take years as it affects the company and plans are more complex. Agile transformation is not just something we can just implement in maybe a PI or 2 PIs. Sometimes it takes years, like I said, because first we are affecting mindsets, we are affecting processes, we are affecting the way that we do, our releases in general. So we have to devote time to this transformation to be very effective. And sometimes, it's one of the challenges that we face out there. When organizations decide to go agile, they want to like, hey, let's do it ASAP, let's do it fast, want to like, go into this and finish up. No, we have to be able to invest time. We have to be really, really be able to and willing to invest time into this transformation, into this change that's coming in. Steve Dennis wrote in Forbes, and for your information, for anyone who doesn't know Steve Dennis, is like this man. Oh God, I forgot. I forgot, but he's a really big influence when it comes to in the business world. So he wrote in Forbes that the journey to agile transformation will include radical shifts in attitude, values, mindsets, ways of thinking, and ways of interacting with the world in effect, a change in organizational structure. So basically what this is saying is, in a it's going to include the radical shifts in value and mindset. Like I said earlier, the mindsets of how we think, how we do things, how we work in general is going to be impacted. And transforming agile transformation, when you bring it to an organization, it's like you're trying to raise a baby. All right, it's like you're trying to raise a child. You can't have a child today and expect it to be 18 years the next day. You're going to have to wait 18 years before the child gets to that stage. The child is going to fail, the child is going to fall, the child is going to rise, the child is going to try to make things, the child will make wrong decisions, but you will be there, as a coach, as a specialist, as a consultant, to be there to guide them through this. So agile transformation and digital transformation. Is that someone said something? All right. Agile transformation and versus digital transformation. Most of the time when you hear agile transformation, so what may come with it will be digital transformation. Or if you're asked agile transformation, they may ask you, how about your digital transformation? How did you go by it? So while agile transformation relies on a wide-reaching set of principles to instigate change, digital transformation focuses on implementing emerging technologies such as AI, cloud services, and the Internet of Things. Remember earlier when we talked about things that might be touched with agile transformation, we talked about technologies. When we're talking agile transformation, we most likely want to improve on our technologies as well. Be it all our infrastructures, be it as AI, cloud services, the Internet of Things. when you go out there and you're interviewing, you may see in some of our job descriptions, they're requesting for Scrum Masters, who have been involved in data migration or data transformation or digital transformation, whatsoever it may be. So when we're doing agile transformation, there's a high chance that we will be improving on our technologies as well. Like I said earlier, infrastructures, data, cloud, internet of things, like you said right here. Digital transformation aims to replace manual, outdated processes. If you're trying to change the way you do things, most likely you will want to change the tools, update your tools that you are actually using to live your life or to produce. Because if you're changing your mindset towards something that you bring in more productivity, then you would not actually want to change the tools as well. From an example of data migration from legacy system to all cloud services, maybe AWS, Google Data, Azure DevOps, or even Oracle Cloud. Whatever cloud you decide to use, you're changing that as well. Agile transformation may be complementary to digital transformation. They're complementary to each other. Agile transformation, you're also doing your digital transformation on the side. Agile methodologies and principles provide structures to an enterprise on the journey of digital transformation. An agile approach will equip teams with the ability to embrace these changes and react quickly to realize the new potential of their new technologies. When we're going through agile transformation and we're also adopting digital transformation, there will be trainings that must be provided to the set teams that will be working with these changes to have the knowledge required for them to use these tools and the knowledge required to actually work with this new transformation, the new agile transformation that we're trying to do. There will be coaching, there will be knowledge transfers, whatever it is that might be needed to coach the employees on these new changes coming into the organization. So benefits of agile transformation. Before I go into this, before an organization decides to adopt agile, there's always a question that will be asked, a question of what, why are we doing this? Why are we adopting this new way of doing things, this agile, why? What are we trying to achieve with us adopting this methodology, this mindset? What are we open to achieve? How are we going to do this? So we look at the benefits of agile. The benefits of agile transformation have been celebrated across many industries. There's been a lot of success stories out there about agile transformation, about how agile improved their processes, how agile improved their productivity, how agile improved the culture of the said organization. There's a lot of success stories out there. A typical example of that is Microsoft. An example of an organization that successfully pivoted to an agile mindset, discarding the top-down model of project management to empower teams. Microsoft is there. We all know how successful Microsoft is today. They adopted Agile, and Microsoft is one of the highest grossing companies there in the world, not just even in America. We have discussed a few benefits and advantages of Agile, including flexibility, predictability, customer satisfaction, high quality products, fewer risks, and improved communication. In one of our sessions earlier, where we discussed, I think it's Agile 101, it's on the portal. We talked about the benefits of Agile, the predictability, the customer satisfaction that it brings, the high quality products that we build, being that we're able to get feedbacks from customers on, what's actually trending, what the customer needs at a set time, fewer risks because we're testing in iteratively, we're always testing, we're always looking out for whatever defects might be on our products. We're able to face fewer risks compared to us waiting until the end of us building the products. And improved communication. Because we're collaborating, we have a lot of collaborative sessions happening. We're able to improve on our communication as a team, as an Agile team. Here are a few additional perks that Agile can offer. Some of the benefits of Agile, again, we're able to increase employee management. We're able to maximize customer satisfaction. We're able to raise operational performances, and we're able to enhance project visibility, being that we have all of our project tools, Azure DevOps, you have Rally, we have Jira. We're able to, you know, the transparency is that we're able to see what we're actually working on all of our boards. So better team collaboration. When organizations transition from a traditional methodology such as waterfall, they give their teams more freedom to work independently. That's why a Scrum team, where we say high performance, self-organized, cross-functional team. This is what we're talking about. We have to give our teams freedom to decide on how to work together, on decide on what to do for themselves. We give the team the autonomy to make decisions. We're not micromanaging our team. We're giving them the freedom to fail. We're giving them the freedom. We as Scrum Masters, we're guiding them towards removing their own impediments. We should remove, the concept of us being a Scrum dad or Scrum mom. So we're giving the team the autonomy to do that. Accelerated delivery. Agile teams work in short iteration known as sprints in the Scrum framework. The sprints can run from 1 to 4 weeks depending on the cadence and the deliverables produced at the end of each. By breaking the projects down into smaller units of time, your team can eliminate wider distractions and hone their focus on one particular deliverable. In a Scrum team, we have sprints. We have sprints that are measured in the same time boxes. So we're able to accelerate our delivery. There are some organizations there that releases as fast as each sprint. There are some organizations that who don't release their products until maybe 1 or 2 iterations or 1 or 2 PIs. But the concept of this is we're improving the way and the pace at which we deliver to the public. If there is a change in requirements, it can be addressed quickly. Sprint planning is a great way to accelerate your product delivery and consistently hit your targets. Excuse me. If there is any changes at all that might, any changes in the market that will maybe change in taste, change in packaging, or how customers are reacting to one of our products, we're able to adapt to that change and react quickly to it. And sprint planning gives us the avenue to do that. Because this is when product owners come in with a requirement like, hey, how did they get the requirements? They get requirements from feedbacks and stakeholders coming in and talking about, okay, this is what we want to build today. This is how the market is reacting to this now. So we have that flexibility to respond to that change. Increased return in income. Return on investment, ROI. Sorry to say return on income. One of the most desirable benefits of Agile transformation is a higher return on investment. And when you talk about return on investment, this is like attuned to organizational areas, because the purpose of organizations spending all of this money is so they can get return on their investment. And Agile, gives that. One of the most desirable benefits of Agile transformation is a high return on investment, because they're pushing out they're pushing out products faster. They're responding to change, any change in customer taste or whatever reason, anything that might influence our products. We're able to get to that faster, and we're able to respond to it faster and produce based on the taste of the customer. So we're producing more and customers are still consuming our products, compared to us not being able to respond to these changes fast enough. And then we produce, and then the customers are not consuming our products, or they're not consuming our services. Then we're producing and we're not getting enough return on investments. But in Agile, we're able to actually respond to that, and we make profit from customer consuming our products. They constantly measure performances and reassesses projects, eliminating any that do not feel real value. And they talk about that any products that we're producing that's obsolete in the market, we're able to discontinue it and focus on or maybe not discontinue it, or change the way we're producing it based on the customer taste and demand. This leads to higher retention rates and profitability levels. When we're able to respond to these changes, and the customers are still, having high demands for our products, this leads to higher retention rates. Customers are able to retain our products and consume it more, and in return, we're making more profits for the organization. Challenges of agile transformation. There is nothing in life, no matter how perfect it is, there's always going to be some sort of challenges that you will face. You will face obstacles. They say a smooth sea never makes a great sailor. So one of the challenges that we face, that agile transformation encounters, is number one. First is, and it's really unlimited. There are different challenges out there, but I picked a few points to discuss with the team, because the challenges are infinite. They're very, very infinite. So one of which is, agile transformation is a serious undertaking that requires a lot of efforts. If we want to go into transformation, it's not just a child's play. It's not just something we can just say, hey, you know what, let's transform. All right, let's do it. No, it requires a lot of planning. It requires a lot of failures, and it requires a lot of failure and then getting back up and reacting based on that failure. It requires a lot of funding. It requires a lot of money being spent, because when we're doing our transformation, we hire specialists, we hire consultants, we hire agile coaches, we hire scrum masters, we hire and we pay these people they pay us as scrum masters, as agile coaches, as consultants, to train the employees, because they're not going to like fire and hire the new ones already. No, we will work with the resources, the human resources that's already in place at the organization. We will come in and train these folks on how this process is being done. And if it's an organization that wants to do digital transformation coupled with the agile transformation, that means they're going to spend a lot, even way more money on digital transformation, going from building AI, going from on-site infrastructure to data cloud. So it consumes a lot of efforts. Here are some of the obstacles that occur when making switch to Agile. The first is strain on teams. Agile transformation is a lengthy process that can take years. Companies need to invest in a lot of time preparing for the switch and training their team. This is a major challenge because it consumes time. I keep talking about time. Time is a limited resources, and not many organizations have the patience. So if an organization wants to go into Agile, they need to invest time. They need to be able to have the patience to invest time. And also, being the team, this new technology, this new methodology, this new mindset of something they've never worked on before, something they've never done before, it requires a lot of training, a lot of trial and errors, a lot of failures, a lot of motivation to try to keep them. Also, it strains the team. If we as Scrum Masters are not properly prepping this team for this, for the transformation, it's more likely to strain the team down, to weigh them down. If proper trainings are not being provided the right way. Another challenge is, if a company opts for Agile digital transformation, this will require investments in new technologies. Like I said earlier, organizations that are going Agile, and then they decide to also adopt digital transformation with Agile transformation, it's going to cost them even way more money to be able to do both and then that. So it's going to consume a lot of resources, a lot of fiscal value, a lot of fiscal money. So it costs more. This is not a one-time investment either, as these tools will require consistent maintenance, and they will need to be replaced when they become obsolete. When organizations are going through these changes, they have to understand that even though you did this transformation, it's not just a one-time thing. You will require continuous improvement. Like we said, continuous improvement, continuous upgrades, continuous trainings. And these require you to spend even way more money. But at the same time, when the organization understand and grow in Agile, you will most definitely see your return in investments. And this is also a major one: unwillingness to change. Some organizations are able to say, oh, we want to go Agile, but the organizational structure restricts changes. The organizational structure is so rigid that when a change comes in, they will try to adopt to it, but on the long run, they wouldn't give the flexibility to adopt to that change. So it is a big challenge, especially in leadership. When leadership is not in support of the Agile transformation, it makes it really hard for transformation to go as seamless as it would be if there was a support of leadership and the team, the lower team in general. So that's a major issue. Resistance to change is a major obstacle. Resistance to change, the unwillingness to adapt to this change, and change is the only thing constant in life. Because if you don't want to adopt change, if you don't want to change with time, if you don't want to change as the demand of the customers change, you will become obsolete. You will most likely, you will go bankrupt. There are some organizations that used to be the giant of the world back in the day. You see the likes of BlackBerry, you see the likes of Nokia, you see the likes of this, I forgot the name of this camera brand. They weren't moving with time. They weren't moving with the customer's demand. They weren't responding to change. Even if they weren't responding to the change fast enough. And when you don't respond to change, when you're not willing to change as the demands of the customer, as the climate requires, or whatever change that might influence you, if you're not willing to change with it, you will be left behind. It is a risk. It is a risk, but it is also a challenge for Agile transformation that we see out there. You might find it difficult to encourage some employees to revolutionize the way of working. If they see no downside to their traditional methods, in this case, you will need to take an extra mile to showcase the benefits of Agile transformation and convince your team to get on board. Excuse me, I need to get water. Also, a major challenge that we face out there is not being able to convince the team on why they should, lower their guards to actually understand this new transformation that's going on. And this is where your coaching skills comes in as an Agile coach, as a Scrum Master. This is where you have to try, to understand these people, understand the department, understand the individuals involved in this, in this chain. Try to know them, try to convince them to see the benefits of this new change that's coming in. This is why you have to explain to them. You have to talk about the why, the what, the who. This is why you have to answer this question, not just to leadership, but to the organization as a whole, if you're able to. And I do talk about this when you're trying to coach. And some of those people I've heard about Agile, and some of them are so terrified about Agile that they'll be like, once they hear Agile, they're like, nope, I am not doing that. But this is where your skills come in as a coach. For example, if a child, I decided that example in one of our sessions. For example, when a child hears about mathematics, I was one of those people that was so afraid of mathematics. Whenever I heard about mathematics, I was like, no, I'm going to fail it. No. So how would you coach someone? How would you teach someone who's so afraid on just saying the words of this methodology, of this mindset, they're so afraid of it? How would you coach them? How would you bring them in, to calm them down? This is where you use, or a typical example that I use is, that mathematics, when you want to coach a child mathematics, you don't just start from Pythagoras theorem. You don't just start from simultaneous equation. You don't just start from all these big formulas and big equations and all. You start from 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 1, relative. So that's how you would go by coaching Agile as well. You use relative experience, really something they can relate to. saying, oh, 1+1 is 2. Okay, why do we go Agile? Where are we going Agile? I cite an example of a bus, going, using a bus that takes you to the set destination in one trial, but the bus doesn't come on time. And another example is you're trying to still get to the set destination, but you have another option of going with 2 or 3 separate buses, but those buses comes faster than the one bus that will get you to where you're going. But the question is, let's say you took the first bus, all right? And then just somewhere along the line, the bus doesn't stop. It takes you from point A to where you're going, to the last point. But somewhere along the line, you need to use the bathroom, and there's no bathroom on the bus. You need to eat. You're hungry. Something influenced your decision to actually want to align the bus or make a changes to your route or make a changes to what you need to do. You can't. So you have to wait till the end. And by the time you wait till the end, it might be too late. But you have an option of taking separate buses, 2, 3 buses that get you to that destination. You go on the first bus, and while you're on the first bus, you realize, oh my God, I need to make some changes, or something influenced your change, something influenced your decision to make a change. When you get to point A, point A to point A.1, you align the bus, you're able to make changes without actually making any changes to your goal. Your goal is still you still have the goal set at the back of your mind. You're still going to where you're going, but because you do know there's another bus coming to pick you up, you're able to respond to that change even faster. And that first bus is the first iteration. The first iteration, once it gets you to the first stop, that is the incremental value that you accrue. And you're able to adapt to any change that you need to make. And then you go again, and then you go again. You have the flexibility to make any changes in your journey compared to when you go on the bus and it takes you from one point to the other point. So you cite relative experiences, something they can really relate to understand. They'll be like, oh yeah. And then you start with the technicalities of Agile, of the transformation. Then you start bombarding them with that. Once you set the room, you make them relax. Oh no, that's what you're talking about. That's what Agile. Yes, that's what Agile is. It's not rocket science. It is not. So that is that. Lack of clarity. Another challenge is lack of clarity. Even if your employees are willing to embrace, Agile transformation, they may have trouble navigating the new way of doing things. Even if they're willing to do it, even if they're willing to adopt to it, they may have challenges navigating these new ways. This is where you come in to guide them. When they fail, pick them up. Oh, it's okay. Motivate them, celebrate little wins. Guide them to be like, okay, yeah. I will coach you. I'll be your Google Map to guide you to where you're going. Even though sometimes you might miss your turns, but I will be there to guide you back on the right path. The transition from a traditional methodology to an Agile one is a major upheaval that requires a whole new set of principles, processes, team roles, and more. And this is where we're talking about our organizational structure. We will have new roles, we will have new processes and more. Because initially, an organization that's not Agile, most definitely they won't have a Scrum Master. Most definitely they will not have a Product Owner. Most definitely, if they're practicing safe, they will not have an RTE. So we will shake up things. We will shake up processes and principles and roles. The people may be unclear on their new title. People may be unclear on what their new title is or what exactly the Agile mindset means in relation to their daily working practices. When new roles are being assigned, when the transformation is going on and new roles are being assigned, maybe it said business analyst is having the role of a product owner, or a manager is being assigned to be the Scrum Master. Whatever way they do it, or they hire new people, whatever way they do it, there may be uncertainty and they may be unclear on what their actual roles are. And this is where the process where you train, adequate trainings is being provided, and adequate, you may even recommend that they take certifications. Whoever's taking each of these roles is able to take certifications and take classes and coach and knowledge transfers. This is where it comes to play. This is the challenge that it actually tackles. Steps to Agile transformation. Once we have learned everything there is to know about Agile, ensure it is the right choice for our organization, you can begin the Agile transformation process. Consider these following steps. And this is why are you, so before we, like I said earlier, before we go into transformation, before we decide uh, to transform from whatever methodology we might be using before, or while we're starting up our organization, why should we go agile? You answer the questions. Why are you transforming to an agile mindset? What do you hope to achieve by implementing an agile methodology across your company? What problems are you trying to resolve? What challenges do you have in organizations that you are trying to tackle that you feel that agile will be able to provide the answers to? Once we're able to provide the answers to these questions, then we can go ahead and build roadmap. Next, you need a project roadmap, determine key performance markers, and set date for completions. Once we're able to answer these questions, then we go ahead and build our roadmaps. We determine what KPIs we're going to use and set dates for completion of our project. Maybe set dates for set the sprints, or decide which other frameworks we'll be using while we understand, knowing the products that we're actually building, or knowing the services that we provide, and look at what framework might actually fit, into what agile frameworks will fit best into what we're trying to produce, what we're trying to, sell to the customers. Create teams. Decide on your new agile team structure. Will you take inspiration from the squad teams in Spotify model, or will you opt for a Scrum approach? Yeah, this also answers the question. Coach Fumi taught us about the Spotify model a few weeks ago. So we see which framework we're going to adopt. Are we going to adopt the Scaled Agile? Are we going with the Spotify model? Are we going to practice SAFe? Or are we going to do Scrum or Kanban? To answer which framework best aligns with our products, with our organization, which framework best aligns. And also, one of the problems that we face, that one of the challenges in agile transformation faces, is going with a wrong framework, going with the wrong method, a wrong framework for your organization. Let's say an organization that, their products or their structure will most likely align with Scrum, and then they decide to use a behavioral-based development, or decide to use a Spotify model. So using the wrong model may also be an impact to the progress of agile transformation. Then we go straight to training the team. Ensure your employees are up to speed with regular training sessions. Repeat the principles of Agile Manifesto and introduce new processes with live demos, video tutorials, and more. Now, once we create our roadmaps, we want to train the teams, and train the teams on what does talk to them about what the new roadmap is, train them on Agile Manifesto, Agile principles, and if whatever frameworks we decide to use, we need to train them on that. Provide live demos, video tutorials, and whatever resources that we might have to train the employees. Communicate regularly. Make a communication plan to keep all stakeholders in the loop. Check in with your team to get feedback on how the transition affects them and address any issues quickly. Communication. Getting feedbacks from your team and providing stakeholders the updates of how the transition is going, how the transformation is going. You check in with your team, get the feedbacks on how the transition affects them. If there is any challenges along the way, you need to address it as fast as possible. Using retrospective is a great tool. If you're using Scrum framework, the inspect and adapt, using all of this session to inspect and adapt. If you notice anything, even if you don't get feedback from your team, you're also using, you have all these metrics to look at to see how the team is performing. If there's anything that might catch your attention, you bring it up, if there's any issues at all, you try to fight it as fast as possible and celebrate wins. These cannot be overemphasized. If you are making someone do something, either they want to do it or they don't want to do it. The sure way to make sure they keep doing that thing is by making sure you appreciate them, you celebrate their wins. Oh, hey, they're so good. You appreciate them, you boost their morale. You boost their morale, you appreciate them, the little wins they make. If it is, or this iteration, they were able to complete all of the story points, we're able to achieve the sprint goal this iteration, celebrate that little win. A team member was able to assist another team member in a problem that team member has, celebrate that win. If it's a team member's birthday, happy birthday to you, hey, celebrate the win. If it's a dog's birthday, happy birthday to your dog, buddy. Celebrate them. They will appreciate that even more and be more motivated to keep going. So celebrating, no matter how small that win is, we have to celebrate these wins. Appreciating member support when key milestones are being completed. Key milestones, a product goal is being met, a sprint goal has been met. We appreciate these accomplishments, and then we share with stakeholders. The stakeholders, whoever we share with them, hey, this is what we did, this. The stakeholders are also happy that we're also making progress and we're celebrating this win, so as to improve motivation amongst teams. Some of the important statistics to note: 47% of all Agile transformation fail. This is from Jeff Sutherland, the co-creator of Scrum. So 47% definitely is a big number. This is why organizations are investing really, really big. Any organization that's trying to go Agile, they invest really, really big because it is a big leap. It is like going 50-50. It's either this succeeds or it doesn't. This is why organizations are investing really, really big to hire the right people to work with, with the transformation and get the right resources to aid the transformation, because you don't want to be the other 50%. You actually definitely want to see a return of investment. You definitely want to see your organization succeed in this new journey that we're embarking on. 42% of respondents cited that company culture at odds with Agile value caused Agile adoptions to fail. 42% of respondents who took part in the survey said that company culture intervening with the Agile adoption contributed to their failure. Some company cultures are not just welcoming to Agile. It is sad. So if the organization's culture is not welcoming enough for Agile, then most likely, it may lead to failure. 30% of respondents felt that the insufficient training caused Agile adoption to fail. 30% of respondents, when there is not enough training provided, when there is not enough coaching or inferior coaching or improper use of resources to coach the team or the organization or as a whole, when that is not adequate enough, then it's most likely will affect the results we're hoping to achieve at the end of the transformation, or even during the transformation, because we don't always wait till the end before we get results at that end in Agile. So during the transformation, we may not see the results that we hope to achieve. And this brings me to the end of this presentation. Thank you very much for giving me this avenue to talk to you guys. And I open the floor to question and answers and observations and teaching me as well. Thank you.